people need to learn how to sit with their shame. And I'm going to give you examples on how I've had to do so and how it helped me grow, and how most people don't and why they don't. So the reason most people don't is because it's very protective to have walls up, right? And what not sitting with your shame looks like is victimization, right? Hypocrisy. You hold other people to standards that you yourself don't hold, right? It's everybody else's fault except for yours, right? All that stuff, right? Those walls that protect you from judgment and shame also stop you from being able to pass those walls. There's still walls, right? There's still walls. No, nothing can get in, but you can't get out. And it's once you bust down those walls and you drop those walls and you sit with your shame and you feel it, those walls are now down. You can now see the horizon, right? You can see the horizon over the sky, and now you can walk to it. There's nothing stopping you. So I'm going to give you an example. If any of you guys know who I am, I had a case a while back that was on the news and everything. And for the longest time, when I tell you, I excused myself. I could not sit with that shame. It was the owner of the company's fault, and this and that, and there were like unfortunate motivating factors that led up to that situation. But at the end of the day, I did have a choice. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like how serial killers can have years of abuse, and just like somebody else can have years of abuse and choose not to be a serial killer, right? So I was using those circumstances as a way to justify my behavior, which didn't allow me to see that it was truly wrong in my heart, because I didn't let myself sit with that shame, which didn't provoke change. And it wasn't until like maybe like a year and a half after this case, for some reason, that I was able to be like think back on it and be like, honestly, there really were other options. There absolutely was another option. There was, for me to actually understand, hey, that was actually wrong, right? And I had to think to myself why I felt it was okay to begin with, and remembering why I felt it was okay to begin with in that circumstance feels actually crazy to present me, because the way I justified it before sounds insane versus to me. Right? And the only way somebody is able to change in that kind of situation is to be able to sit in their shame. Another example includes, I had a couple situations with my ex where we were confronted very, hostile, right? And, I was just very explosive because my ex was a very toxic person, and, I was very always in just a very bad mood and just burnt out and explosive and emotional. So I didn't handle myself very well when it came to conflict, and I would match their energy. I was like, oh, if they're acting like that to me, I'm going to act like that to them. And it would only escalate things to where there were missed opportunities and stuff. So yeah, I wasn't wrong. I was approached, whatever happened, I wasn't necessarily wrong, but we both lost in the end, right? I wasn't able to just pull back a little bit, because I'm like, oh, I don't take disrespect, right? So, and it wasn't until my ex was having this conversation with me over text, and mind you, she did not hold herself to these standards at all, right? It was always, if I did it, then I had to work on it, but she can do whatever. But that's another story. She was like, you cost us these opportunities because of the way you handled it. Yes, they were wrong, but we guaranteed lost the opportunities because of your responses. And when I tell you, I was defending myself so crazy, I was texting her back on, it don't matter, bro, I'm not gonna let somebody disrespect me, and they totally didn't have to do that. But we were going back and forth, and it just clicked, yo. I couldn't tell you why. Maybe you either got it or you don't, or maybe there is a control factor, but it just clicked, and I was like, oh shit, she's right. She's actually right. I really didn't have to match their energy. And if I didn't, we would have had a different outcome, and I would have came out looking a lot better. So it did not feel good to accept that. It did not. It was embarrassing. It was very shameful. But I had to sit in that shame for me to realize, this is not what I want to be. That's not the kind of person I want to be seen as. Because when you sit in your shame, you're actually able to see yourself how other people see yourself. And that's worse. Right? So I'm like, I don't want to be viewed that way. And from then on, I haven't been perfect, but from then on, I've noticed a significant decrease in my explosion in the way I handle conflict, because of the fact that I sat in my shame, And it was so bad that it was intrinsically motivating enough for me to want to actually change. And you won't change unless you actually want this. If it bothers you that bad, you will change. If it bothers you that bad, you will change. Humans learn through pain. I'm convinced of that. You can learn through positive associations just like any animal. But if you look at wildlife, especially what saves their lives, what saves animals' lives, is learning through negative associations, bad situations, and punishment, right? The way they communicate to their young, the way they avoid dangerous situations. Their primary motivator for change, that's literally life-saving, is punishment. So again, the punishment has to be severe enough. The pain from the situation has to be severe enough. Take accountability, sit in your shame, feel the pain, feel like shit. Don't blame anybody else for it. Blame yourself, and you'll change and you'll have a happy life. If you don't do that, you'll be miserable and feeling sorry for yourself forever.